I am on vacation right now and I didn't bring my camera, so I'm just having to use this direct upload, which I've never done before, so I hope it works, and if it doesn't, I'm sorry. Cameron, if you guys remember him from the first guest vlogging people that we used, he asked me a great question. He wanted me to sort of expand upon the top bottom dynamics. And it's a three-part question, so I'm going to go ahead and read a part and then answer it, and then read a part and answer it, and then read a part and then answer it. A friend of mine who shall not remain nameless, Carla, once said to me she always thought I was a bottom. It had me kind of intrigued as to how someone could assume I preferred one or the other. Can you tell in some mannerisms, like some super advanced gaydar? Good question, Cameron. I think more than what that assumption says about you, I think that assumption says much, much more about your friend, in this instance, Carla. Because for whatever reason, it seems as though that person has some sort of preconceived notions about what a bottom looks like, what a bottom does, what kind of mannerisms a bottom has, and because these conceived characteristics were somehow manifested within you, you apparently were a bottom. I don't think there's really any sort of radar. You know what I mean? I think there are stereotypes, and sometimes those stereotypes might be accurate. Maybe they're accurate 70% of the time, but they're not accurate 100% of the time. And it's not really saying anything about you, it's saying much more about the person who's making those assumptions. Another gay male friend once told me he had the same assumption and put it down to being fat, as most bigger guys are. Now, I don't consider myself a bottom and not offended by people making assumptions to the contrary, but do you think there perhaps may be some underlying myth about fat dudes not having the stamina to be a top? That's not necessarily true either. I think that's another sort of notion. Because as a bottom, yeah, you can just lie there and get fucked, you know. Or you can be on top, you can be moving around a lot, you can be working up quite a sweat. And even when you're bottoming, you need to have, you know, good leg control, good muscle stamina. And sometimes the top will be the one that's just laying there while the person who's being penetrated is doing all the work. So that's not really a good sort of judge of a sort of a test for who's a top and who's a bottom either. Just because someone's fat, also that's also implying that someone who is fat is not going to be as healthy and will not have as much stamina as someone who is thin. So that's strike two for your friends, Cameron. Finally, what are your thoughts on the top-bottom relationships, i.e. set roles between two partners as opposed to two versatile partners? I've heard from many that they consider a versatile relationship to be the most interesting, satisfying, rewarding. At the top, does that make me boring? I'd like to preface this by saying that I've never met a gay man who says they're just a top or just a bottom and has never done one or the other. I think a lot of men, when they're first sort of exploring their gay relationships and having sex with other men, if they had a bad experience bottoming initially, you know, maybe the partner wasn't using enough lubrication or was being too rough or was not paying attention to the needs of the other partner, then, you know, that could be a catalyst for someone not wanting to bottom after that for quite a while. But I have yet to meet a gay man who has not at least done one or the other. Of course there are preferences, and of course there are people who prefer to top and prefer to bottom. It's not always 50-50. But yeah, I've never met someone who doesn't do both. You know what I mean? That being said, I think there are people who are like that. And if you happen to find a relationship, if you don't enjoy being penetrated, if you don't enjoy bottoming, if you don't enjoy that part of life, if you've tried it and you just don't like it, as opposed to you're not very comfortable with it, so you're avoiding it or something like that. If you just don't like it and you meet, and if you have a partner, I don't know if you're single or not, if you have a partner who just loves bottoming all the time and who doesn't feel unsatisfied or dissatisfied at all with that, then great. I think one of the reasons why people say that versatile relationships are more satisfying is that um, a lot of people, I think one of the good things about being gay is that you can play sort of either role. You can play penetrator or penetrated in any given situation. So as long as you have a partner who's willing to fit into where you are not, then whether you're both versatile or whether one's always a top and one's always a bottom, I think it's the same amount of satisfaction. So no, I think if you want to stay atop the rest of your gay sex life, that's totally fine. You know what I mean? Go for it. Do whatever you want, man. If you can find a partner who likes bottoming all the time and who doesn't feel dissatisfied in that, that's awesome. And if one day you think, man, I just really want a cock up my ass, go for it. Do it. Be safe. That's it for Sex Month. I had a lot of fun. I hope we do this again soon. I hope you guys had a lot of fun too. I've noticed that a lot of people have been watching these videos, whether or not it's because all my cohorts on this channel are just super sexy ladies or not, I think it's been a lot of fun, and we've all had a lot of fun making them, and I hope you've had fun watching. Thanks to Billy for coming on and giving us some sex advice. And thanks to Cameron for the question, and thanks to all of you. And we'll see you next week with your regularly scheduled Revolution.